Hey, it's Christine. It's a random Sunday in the end of January, and I'm here on the Strip again because, well, I had a hockey tournament this weekend, and we were eliminated in the semifinals. So instead of playing a championship game on Sunday, I get to hear people screaming over at New York, New York, because the roller coaster's running. But actually, I'm here for a different reason, and it's because I want to walk down memory lane, but for good reasons. So behind me is what is called the Island Tower. In some context of my life, I call it the bane of my existence. And in some places, I consider it one of the places where I've learned more about myself than I realized. And it was mainly because I was left to my own devices. And this Island Tower is part of a place called the Tropicana. And this is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, hotel that is still standing on the Las Vegas Strip. I am on the south end of the Strip, and this area was always known as the Four Corners because of MGM Grand, New York, New York, and Excalibur, which are right in front of me. And I'm going to take a little bit down memory lane because I was here for a good portion of my childhood. And why? Well, I'll explain in just a second. Before I go in, though, I just wanted to make a note of the appearance of the Tropicana. So the Tropicana was acquired by DoubleTree Hotels several years ago, and when they did that, they did do a bit of remodel. But one of the things that makes me sad is the fact that this towers, actually this is Island, and the one in the back there is Paradise Tower. This was one of the first hotels that had the two tower system. Well, they've all been whitewashed. Everything's been whitewashed. These tips up here used to be gold, and you could see them all the way across the Strip. They were very shiny, and everything, including the side buildings that used to have this kind of tropical kind of island house flair with brown and stuff like that, everything's been whitewashed, including the gates, even the sides of the buildings. So it's nowhere as nice as it used to be. So let's take a walk inside, shall we? I actually haven't been in here in several years, so this is going to be interesting. So on a side note, one of the reasons why I'm filming this is that there has been a motion to relocate the Oakland Athletics, the MLB baseball team, here to Las Vegas. And the land that this hotel occupies is slated for the new baseball field. Now, according to news as of today, which is January something, 2024, it's right now stuck in limbo, and people don't want the Athletics. Then again, anything from Oakland, people don't freaking want. But Tropicana's fate is in limbo, and it is scheduled to close within the next 5 years. So I want to at least document this for my own memories, and just to share these stories of a Vegas that I remember from 2 decades ago. That used to be a working water fountain.
Me mind on fire, me soul on fire, feeling hot, hot, hot. Party people all around me, feeling hot, hot, hot. Oh, what to do on a night like this? Eating sweet.
So just a few notes about the casino itself. One of the things that they preserved was their ceiling. This is one of the nicest stained glass ceilings, and this has not changed in the time that I've been here. So that part's been preserved. One of the big things, though, is there used to be a lot of table games here, but they've definitely cut back on them. That's now a lounge. That used to be tons of slots, and there used to be slot machines right over here by the elevators. The other thing, too, is that a lot of the carpet was replaced, and now it's tile, which actually is a lot nicer because it doesn't absorb all the cigarette smoke. I will say, though, that the lobby's really bright now, but at the same time, it's a lot more plain. Back in the day, this used to be much more elegant in that sense. What do you say we go up to the mezzanine and take a look at a nice bird's eye view of the entire casino? So I'm up here on the mezzanine floor, and one of the cool things is that the vantage from here has not changed. They've not closed this off, and it's a gorgeous view from up here. You can actually see how nice this is right here. And sometimes as a kid, I would just come up here to the mezzanine floor and just check it out. Also, unlike other hotels, because this one's smaller, there's no security guard coming in at the towers, like in the entrances to the elevators. So I might be able to take you up to one of the floors that I used to stay in very frequently. why did I end up in Vegas so much? Well, here's the thing. So I have an aunt, or had an aunt, who passed away recently, and she was a huge gambler. And because of that, my parents caught on to it and basically wrote off of all of her comp points because she used to play a lot. Like, to the point where she was friends with the casino host and he'd hook her up with like rooms. So my parents would use her and send us all to Vegas. And of course, it wasn't because it was a family vacation. It was because they wanted to gamble. And since it wasn't a kid-friendly place at the time, and it still isn't, to be honest, you know, we had a bunch of arcades and stuff. I said they would gamble and they would just leave me alone. So yes, I was a minor loitering all over the Las Vegas Strip, unattended, with a sack full of quarters, hoping that I could finish the entire day at the arcade machines on that sack of quarters. Otherwise, I would have nothing to do, and they wouldn't care where I went. In some cases, so the distance from here, Tropicana, to Circus Circus is approximately 2 to 2.5 miles, and I would walk that entire part. And when I was still young and had feet that worked, you know, walking that way wasn't an issue. But the hardest part was, as a kid, I had to learn how to ration money, because if I spent all of my quarters in one place and not have enough to last the whole day, I was stuck up a creek, because then I'd have to walk all the way back to Tropicana, ask for more quarters, and then get yelled at for spending my money too quickly, which is like turns the kettle black because you're freaking gambling. But we're not going to talk about that part. Okay, so now it's time to see if I can go up into a tower. Right now on the mezzanine, this is probably the quietest portion of the entire casino, because the only time it's ever used is for the Laugh Factory that's just behind me. Back in the day, though, if you go back this way, there was this really awesome Japanese hibachi restaurant that used to be over here. Now it's just offices. This is all administrative offices up here on the mezzanine. So really not much going on, but you know, times have changed and demand has changed. You know, back in the 80s, this was one of the hottest casinos anywhere, and this is where you would go. But you know, sign of the times, the casinos just keep getting bigger, the resorts just keep getting larger, and everything costs money, even more money.
Feeling hot, hot, hot. Oh, Lord. See people rocking.
So I made it here to the 16th floor. This was normally the floor that we would get comped. Don't know why the 16th floor, but whatever. They have done some remodeling, brand new carpet. Looks actually much nicer, much brighter. That was probably one of the biggest things that made a difference here. So down this hall, and usually we were in the 1620s to 1632s, but this is the hallway. I know this all too well. And the nice thing is, from the 16th floor, you can see the New Year's Eve fireworks that would often happen, because I was often trapped here on New Year's Eve because I couldn't go down the Strip, and it was probably a bad idea. And I had to do this for almost 8-9 years. So back down we go, and let's take a look at the route to the Paradise Tower. Back on the casino floor, we have to go down to go up again to get toward Paradise. When I mean you got to go down to go up again, this is what I meant. There's actual escalators here that go up. So yeah, going up. So it looks like at this time, Tropicana is being used as a headquarters for some of the media credentials for Super Bowl, which is I think in 2 weeks at the time of this filming. And this here used to be Gaucho Steakhouse. I don't know what the heck it is now, but these guys need to get a room. This is the steakhouse that replaced Gaucho's. Never been here, but looks bougie. The direction I would normally go, because I was bored and needed to go to the arcade when they still had one. And it's very, very white. Over here are some of the bungalow style suites that they had here. One of the other things too is that they still have some active man-made waterfalls, but I did notice that over here this was changed into like the wedding area. This used to be part of the whole water thing. I guess they just needed to conserve or something, but I guess people can, you know, make poor choices here now instead. It's okay though, because Nevada has probably some of the best and most lenient divorce laws. So if you really don't think it's going to last, just get married here. I mean, I made the same mistake, but I did it in Ohio. So 20 years ago, there used to be a people mover going across here. That's the reason why you have carpet right there to cover that up. And all of this here, these are little kiosks or whatever they've got going on. This actually used to be places where they would have live animals on display in these really nice habitats, because Tropicana was one of those places that had lots of wildlife. They tried to make it an island experience and stuff like that. And there were animals here, like monitor lizards and macaws and this toucan named Pinocchio, like not even a joke. And now it's pretty much just been turned into a pass through. So nobody really knows what used to be here, except that it's just a long bridge to nowhere. So now we keep walking to another set of elevators here. We're going to be going toward Paradise Tower and the pool. Used to stick a reptile of some sort in there. Now it's just plants. There is Paradise Tower, the second of the two towers. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit, but you can kind of see how decrepit it's kind of gotten in the last several years. I mean, that's a lot of the desert sun and everything like that, but it just makes me wonder how much they care anymore. But then again, you know, this place is slated to go eventually, so I guess not. If you'd like an indoor version of an area where you'd like to make some poor choices, there is a wedding chapel here. A bunch of meeting rooms, and where I'm heading to are the elevators here on the left side. They're going right in here. We're going to go down one floor to the bottom to find there's probably no arcade. So for reference, I never stayed in the Paradise Tower. I was never sent there. Paradise Tower, I believe, is the older of the two towers, and the island one was the newest one. So not really much going on. They're pretty identical. So what I would do is just go down this corridor of pretty much nothing. You would be on your way to the pool, and as you were walking, there would be a bunch of arcade machines kind of just sitting. But then you turn the corner and you realize, yeah, no arcade machines. All gone. And you can't even go in through that used to be the entrance to the pool. So not sure what's going on, probably because it's off season, but nothing's going on here. But this is where I spent way too much time with a bunch of quarters, because I had to belong to a family that didn't know what it meant to be a family. Vegas is fun. So as you can see, the Tropicana is not a very big facility, and it does make sense with it being so sprawling that, you know, they want to use all of this land. It's one of those things that just happens. It's unfortunate though, because it's such a iconic hotel, but at the same time though, Vegas is growing so quickly that there's not much you can do with expansion. It just embarrasses me that a reject baseball team wants to put their field here when there's so much extra land in different parts of Las Vegas that is just barren and waiting to be filled, and yet you want to just take down a nearly 70-year-old hotel because you want to put your stupid baseball team here. You know, my aunt didn't come back to Las Vegas a lot in her later years, didn't really drive much, and it makes me wonder what she would think of this place now, especially with how much has changed. But then again, I don't think she ever even left the casino. That's a whole different topic altogether, and one of the reasons why I'm not a fan of gambling. But in honor of her, I think I will play a round of video poker, just because that is the game that she taught me how to play.
People in the party, hot, hot, hot. People in the party, hot, hot, hot. They come to the party on what they got. They come to the party on what they got. I'm hot.
So this one's for my aunt. Rest in peace, and I'm sorry for what my parents did to you. Let's go! So anyway, that was interesting and a little bit of a fun run with this multi-poker machine. But yeah, video poker was something that I did connect with my aunt. It was a game of strategy, a game of thinking about the next move, or making a prediction, and it was definitely a fun, stimulating game. Of course, I never really liked to play for money, but I do make it a tradition. No matter when I'm in Vegas, I got to play at least one round on the on the video machines, because it's just what you do. I'm not a huge gambler. I learned from my time watching the adults that I had to live with that it probably was something that I didn't want to invest a lot in. The gambling I do now involves stocks and very, very low, like $5 here and $10 there. I'm not even at the baller status that my aunt ever was. And let's just say, without going into too much detail, I did see a lot of the consequences of that. So I'm good with just enjoying Vegas as a destination rather than escape of other things. I mean, yeah, it's an escape, but I'm doing other things like playing hockey and seeing my friends and trying new food and experiencing what else this place has to offer, because there's a ton of machines. And by the way, if you want to play a poker machine, there's apps on the iOS platform that are identical to the interface that you would see here, except that you don't have to pay money and they give you fake money to play with. I'm okay with that. I don't need more than just the motion of playing. I win a shit ton of money, that'd be great, but we all could use a shit ton of money, right? Anyway, if you've made it this far in the video, I applaud you. Appreciate you going down memory lane with me for just a little bit, and just knowing that Vegas may change, Vegas may evolve, but there's a lot of things that still stay the same, and just gotta enjoy the moment. It's not goodbye, it's just farewell for now.